This region around the Great Lakes has been called the heartland. When it comes to agriculture, there's hardly an area in the world that compares.
Everybody, just hold on. I don't know what we're going to have here.
That's what brings the viewers back. That a boy.
Manage money, piling in.
Double digits higher.
So at this point, we're in kind of uncharted territory.
There's a lot of money on the sidelines.
So that was a crazy one.
Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, July 28th, and this is the AgYield War Room. I'm Dan Dempsey, and I'll be moderating today's session. As always, if you get any questions or comments, please feel free to drop us a line in the chat area, and we'll be sure to get to it during the show. Overnight markets here at September corn down 2 1/4 at 397 1/4. August soybeans were down 6 at 992 3/4, and September Chicago wheat was down 4 1/2 at 533 3/4. This morning, we had a couple of export sales announcements from the USDA. 225,000 metric tons of corn to Mexico for 25. Also announced 229,000 metric tons of corn to unknown destinations. 35,000 of that was for old crop 24, with 194,000 for new crop 25. Good morning, guys. Hope everybody had a nice weekend. I guess what we know to start the week, China and the United States currently meeting in Stockholm today and tomorrow. The thought there is that so far there's been positive developments on some things that they've been discussing. They're looking for there's talks of a 90-day extension for this current truce. So we'll have to see, any news that comes out there. And how that's going to affect us here. Also announced over the weekend, European Union trade deal. A couple of highlights: the 15% tariff will be imposed on EU imports. Also, the EU is committed to investing about $600 billion in the United States and purchasing $750 billion in American energy products. Once again, rhetoric on how this framework deal will be positive and have a significant impact on agriculture, but no clear details. So we're still left kind of in the dark on that deal there. So with that, guys, why don't we kick it off? Justin, maybe just a few initial thoughts from everything over the weekend, and then we'll kick it around the room.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's I think it's positive that we are getting some of these deals, quite a bit of money for investing in U.S. in general coming this way. So I think in my opinion, it's a positive sign as we look at, obviously EU is a giant trade partner. Japan's a giant trade partner. At least give some optimism that some of these other deals, Canada, Mexico, China specifically, will be positive as well. So I think that's encouraging. Obviously the weather, we had meetings last week, I think a lot of people in agreement that the crops look really, really good, especially corn. And especially, call it Illinois and West. And I think that's what the market's trading. The question is, how big is the crop, and, how low can we go? We've talked a lot about, government support programs, bigger crop insurance policies, private products, lots of things that are subsidized that people use as a marketing tool. So how do you, my mind's more around how do you, for lack of a better term, trade around that? How do you position yourself in addition to those products? So I do think prices will probably continue to drift lower. I mean, the weather just continues. I mean, we keep getting rain where we need it. Until I would say we're probably kind of weak between here and September 1st notice day, at least. Just kind of your seasonal, I think people are going to have to free up some cash for cash flow needs. So I do think we'll have a round of selling, especially if the crops look good, so it's going to be hard unless, these trade deals are positive. I think that's probably a story after harvest personally. That's kind of where my head's at right now.
Yeah. And I guess one of my takeaways was that nobody has a clue on beans.
Yeah, just like every year. We have growers that are getting ready to harvest in the South and they don't know what their bean yields are. So
I hate to laugh, but it was so funny.
There's pods, there's pods and they look good, but
yeah. Dustin, what's on your mind?
Well, I was just thinking on that front. Let's just take, I've got this weird sunlight in the background. Sorry about that, guys. If you think about like the things that are affecting the market right now, we have fertilizer prices extremely high and no relief really in sight right now. No path to relief, at least. So when you talk about really good weather and cool temps and rain expected again in the next 2 weeks. We don't have these trade deals inked, but we seem to be kind of heading in that direction. That's really kind of these are going to be long-term deals, right? These are not going to be signed for a 1-year trial period. And so I think the market could actually find some sort of, ground where it's finding buyers and sellers for this year, right? If we do grow a sharply above trendline yield for corn, for example, and we have these 95 million acres, we'll have a lot of corn. But we still have to think about what's the path to getting that corn planted next year to fulfill some of these trade deals. And I actually could see a situation where spreads try to do a lot of this work if the yields are that good. So something just kind of keep in mind. I think Justin said it perfectly. Like, yeah, harvest needs. That's probably a big focus right now, is like finding a path to what you're going to deliver at harvest, and then kind of paying attention to spread risk. If you don't have a lot of storage, this is my personal opinion, spreads could get wider. It doesn't have to happen that way. We could be surprised by how we finish out the year, but we're ripe for that situation with the risk-free rate being as high as it is. And having 95 million acres of corn, it could get to an interesting harvest.
Yeah, Dan, you did talk about the sales this morning, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the announcements. Yeah, it's nice to see. Good start to the week.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think as some of these deals get announced too, you will get buyers. I think there's been a lot of sideline buyers as well with tariffs and uncertainty. So if you do get some certainty and it looks like Trump's just not going to go crazy and put 300% tariffs on everybody, and we are going to get some deals done, that you could see some, buyers come to the table. The dollar's relatively cheap. U.S. corn's cheap. For now it's paid to be hand to mouth. And and don't be kidding ourselves that a lot of people know that seasonal lows are made, going into September 1st around, the next 30, 45 days. So I would expect that, if we continue to go lower, there's a lot of reasons for buyers to come in. There's a lot of reasons for farmers not to sell after you get harvest needs taken care of, just because of all the things that we've talked about. So,
Ben, what are you thinking about?
It's encouraging to see trade deals come through, but I think that the verbiage that is published on them has been very opaque to agriculture. When you see an energy with the EU deal, a very set amount of energy products that they're going to buy from us, and we don't see that yet in agriculture. And I think the market wants to see that. It's encouraging to see sales come in here. I would expect that every day we're going to see something. That's the optimist in me. As we go lower, that should pick up. Dustin hit it on the head. We're at a place where buyers and sellers are kind of willing to exchange a little bit and trade from that front. So positive there. You don't know how we're going to still, we talk about finishing weather. Yes, it's late July, but across my computer this morning, I saw everyone talking about a derecho in across Dakotas, Minnesota, and parts of Iowa, and I was getting it from weather people, not a weather person. But there are things left that could be detrimental to supply, perceived supply. So we'll see. It's really been a quiet trade, not a ton of volume, but I think that soybeans in particular, being on the clock here for their demand window, really need to see something positive coming out of the Chinese trade talks.
Yeah, it was interesting. I just got a wire report that president just reduced his time for a ceasefire with Putin to 10 to 12 days. So that's been drastically reduced. So we'll see what happens there. guess he's given up a little patience on that front. Ryland, let's move quickly over to livestock here. Placements stole the show on Friday. So I guess what are your thoughts as we start the week?
Yeah, absolutely. Had the huge data dump here on Friday, got the inventory report and the cattle on feed report. And just between all that, it looked like the real standout really was going to be the placements. I mean, we were down 8%. I mean, I think it's obvious signs that the Mexican border closure is still really the biggest issue as far as the placements in the South go, in Kansas and Texas. So, I mean, at this point, I don't think there's really any other way to skin it. It's a bullish report. I mean, even looking at the inventory report, you know, I think everybody was really going to be going through this data, trying to figure out if expansion was happening. And the data's still not 100% clear. You know, heifers being 38% of the supply right now. I mean, I'd say that like that's kind of the number I think that the market was looking to see if there was up or below. And at this point, it's just kind of right where I think the market was kind of expecting it for the most part. I mean, if you just look at the inventory data just against what the market was expecting, some areas were slightly larger than expected, but I think this bottleneck that we have at the Mexican border is still going to be a real problem. And it just seems like overall, everything is still really tight and packers are just kind of on the ropes now with margin. So we did see cash start to tick up, just a kind of a steady firm trade last week. And I think we'd kind of be expecting the same thing. I mean, where do we go from here? If the profit incentives, I think, are still there in the back end of the market, maybe we get a little bit more confidence to expand at a faster pace. But at this point, it just seems like here we are. It's going to be a slow, long road to get the supply to where I think the market kind of wants it right now, or enough to break this thing. So we'll see how we react. We'll see what's baked in, but generally speaking, that's a bullish report. So I think that's really where the focus is going to be. And as far as the hogs go, I mean, it seems like the market just kind of plateaued a little bit. Everyone wanted to see what the cold storage report says. Cash markets were down a little bit, so I think you got a softer tone, I think, from that angle, although, you know, we did get kind of a friendly response to the cold storage report. Pork stocks, 422 million pounds, is down from 475 last year and down from 450 last month. So just seems like, once again, everything's relatively tight, and it looks like we're going to keep prices pretty well supported for right now.
All right, very good. Appreciate the update there, Rye. A couple things to note. One thing, we will have crop conditions out here this afternoon, 3 o'clock Central, so we'll take a look, visit about those here tonight, and then certainly tomorrow morning in the War Room. Appreciate everybody that tunes in on a daily basis. If you wouldn't mind, throw us a like and certainly subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to do so. It'll keep you up to speed on everything that's going on with AgYield. So again, thanks to everybody that tunes in and supports the show. We're doing this live every day that the markets are open on X, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live at 8:15 Central Time. Appreciate the thoughts and comments here this morning, guys. It was a good show. Hope everybody has a good start to the week. I want to talk to you again tomorrow.
The War Room is proudly presented by AgYield. For over 50 years, the AgYield team has provided grain marketing and risk management solutions for growers across the country. Our veteran consultants harness cutting-edge technologies to pinpoint risk, optimize market performance, and protect your farm's profitability. Discover a new approach to farm revenue management at agyield.com.
Hey guys, Jack here. Be sure to support the show by hitting the like button, leaving us a comment, and subscribing to the channel for all the latest updates. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.